Please read the disclaimer. XRP holders, it's finally time to say goodbye to something that has been a thorn in our sides for a long time. Plus, President Trump said that he's giving Iran only 10 days. And what did Ripple CEO just say about the Clarity Act? Hello, beautiful people. Shalom, moneymakers. Let's try to get 1,000 likes on this video. I know you guys can do it. Let's get into it. Currently, XRP is sitting at $1.41, down 0.69%. It was lower here today. All the way down, it went to 138, but has rallied a little bit. Also, Bitcoin in the 67,000 area, Ethereum getting closer and closer back to the 2,000 level. Solana up today at 81.5. If we look at the S market here, you can see down about 0.5%. Also, the NASDAQ is down similar. Again, it was up a little bit higher previous today, and we do see the VIX is up back over 20. So remember, we talked about how VIX over 20 is pretty bearish. So I think the headline that I just mentioned about Iran, President Trump just issued a 10-day deadline to Iran. Trump says the U.S. has to make a meaningful deal with Iran that we'll find out in about 10 days. He warned that the U.S. may have to take a step further if talks fail and Iran needs to make a deal or bad things will happen. Trump also said Iran cannot have an end weapon and claims that the Middle East is currently at peace, right? This is from the Board of Peace Summit there that was going on today. Some people said that it's low probability that something will happen today just because Trump likes to have his attention in a specific place. And if he's at the Board of Peace, then he can't run the operation give all his attention to that. So, because people were a little bit concerned that something might happen today, but with this Board of Peace, it seems like that's something that's not on the table, but you never know. I did hear fighter jets flying above my head today, so they're probably getting ready and doing practice flights and things like that. So we'll see potentially what's going to happen from that. So we need to take into consideration that the market can continue to be volatile here today, even though we had the initial jobless came in a little bit lower than expected, and we also had a trade deficit numbers that came out. We'll get to that in just a second, but initial jobless claims is lower than expected, which is actually good, less jobless. But, for the probabilities in the past, if that would have happened, then we could have seen the market, selling off a little bit because the Fed wanted high in unemployment, but now we've gotten into a situation where the unemployment was high enough and the inflation was low enough that they started reducing interest rates. Again, we'll see how that plays out in the next coming months. Justin, SEC Chair Paul Atkins says regulators should not panic over falling crypto prices. It is not the regulator's job to worry about daily market swings, adding the focus should be on disclosure and long-term regulatory clarity. The SEC is like, hey, the fact that the crypto market is in a bearish situation doesn't mean that we don't need to give it any more attention, right? Because the prices are lower than they were a few months ago. If we go back, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, they were lower. So, it's all about perspective. It's all about time frame. And he's right? The regulators should not panic over this and not stop, creating the regulation just because prices have dipped a little bit. Okay, so that's important to remember. It's important always to remind ourselves that their prices are going to fluctuate and we have to have a plan in place to what we potentially want to do in the markets. As always, remember, this is a video for entertainment purposes, for educational purposes, for news purposes, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Also, remember that I will never contact you on social media asking you to sign up to anything or to send me anything. Those are scammers. Please be very careful out there. I'm not going to DM you or ask you to sign up to anything. Please be careful out there, okay? So if we get back to what's happening, just a price action here, we can see the potential of XRP testing the support level at 135. And then we have here the resistance level at 143, which XRP got rejected from on the 4-hour chart, you can see, and came back down. We did not get the crossover. We were thinking maybe this potentially could happen here for Bitcoin and Ethereum. That has not happened yet. As we continue here and the prices stay where they are, give or take, consolidate, then it will be with higher probability that we're going to see a crossover. Remember, we sold off there on Sunday when we were about to have a crossover here for Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it will be very interesting to see. I want to remind you guys about our partner, BTCC. They have this 30% deposit bonus. If you are interested, you sign up, you deposit, and you get 30% deposit bonus. So if you put in 1,000, you get 300. If you put 10,000, 3,000, a million, 300,000, and so on. I don't know if anybody here has a million. If you do, great, right? Good for you. But I hope for you that you have. Again, if you do use my link, I will get a commission. So thank you for that. And link is in the description down below. You go to my website here. You can come from, wait, that's not what I wanted. You can come here to the description and you go to my website. We also have the free Telegram group where you can sign up. It's free and open. You don't have to sign up to anything. It's just you come in and we have this moneymaker Avilev. You come here and you click BTCC and then you can sign up, okay? And you'll get that bonus from BTCC. Now, this is an affiliate link. So again, I will get a commission, and please, please, please trade responsibly. We've been talking a lot about the Clarity Act, and Ripple CEO went on Fox. It's a full interview. It's like 6 or 7 minutes. If you're interested, you can go. It's on the Fox News website there. But this clip is what's been going around. Let's take a listen.
Actually, the prediction markets around this point, around the Clarity Act, spiked because of some comments yesterday from Senator Moreno, who's been an advocate. I think it's now 90% it will pass by the end of April. I had said a couple weeks ago, I thought end of April. At the time, people thought that was a little optimistic. There's a meeting today with a lot of leaders on both sides, the crypto and banking, in the White House. Actually, it's in 30 minutes or so. Ripple's chief legal officer is representing kind of Team Ripple there. But the White House is pushing hard on this, and I think that is a big reason why it will get done. It needs to get done for U.S. leadership. President Trump has been a clear leader and put the stake out there that we need the U.S. to be the crypto capital of the world. That's good for U.S. competitiveness, and that leadership from David Sachs and Patrick Witt in the White House have been really critical around this.
So he's now saying with 90% probability that it's going to pass. Listen, good probability, right? Of course, you would like 99.99 or 100%, but probability-wise, it seems that Brad is pretty confident that there's only maybe some small things that they can agree on, and that those are not deal breakers. If he's saying 90%, they just need to smooth out the last things. Cross the T's and dot the I's, like they say. And so it will be very interesting. We've talked a lot about this, that the main reason I think that the crypto market has been selling off is actually two. So I have been thinking about this, and I want to share a theory with you. One is the Clarity Act. And yes, that triggered part of the sell-off. But I think that there was another thing that was going on here. So I saw today a video talking about how the Iranians have sanctions on them and they can't sell their oil to anybody. They go with this kind of back way and they switch ships and they transfer mid-sea next to countries that are, like Indonesia and places like that, Oman, that are like, covering their eyes, and they sell to the Chinese. And the problem is the Chinese send them Chinese yuan, and they can't really transfer it. They need some, mechanism. They can't give their people, salaries in Chinese yuan. So what they do is they can't transact in dollars, right? They're not allowed to. So basically what happened is they're either converting through third parties in the Middle East into crypto, right? So a lot of crypto gets transacted there because then they can't be tracked. And then from the crypto they're using to pay their, their people there. What I think might have happened here is that they do have a lot of cryptocurrency. And so there could have been a situation where they are gearing up for the battle, right? And they are expending some of their cryptocurrency and selling it to raise funds in order to bring in weapons or to bring in troops. So I think that's what's happening also. And I think that they might be unwinding their positions as well. This is something that I thought about when someone mentioned in the article that they were also converting into cryptocurrency. So there's high probability that that's what's happened and that's what they are doing. And again, it could have been one of the triggers that has caused the crypto market to sell off voracious. No, that's not the word. So vigorously over the past few weeks. Okay, so very, very interesting. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think? Do you think it has anything to do with it or not? A big 1 trillion Societe Generale has expanded its euro stablecoin EUR convertible to the XRP ledger. So more potential traffic on XRPL. We talked this morning about the upgrade that Ripple had introduced into XRPL that enabled money from Wall Street to trade on XRPL. And now we also have this. So again, more and more opportunities here in the XRP ledger. Now, there's something that we have been talking about for a very long time that has a big effect on the crypto market. One of the initial sell-offs that it happened before the sell-off that we had right now, twice actually, was the CME gap. I talk about it a lot on the video. I talk about how the CME gap is used by the big dogs to manipulate the price of crypto, of Bitcoin, of crypto in general. And we've seen multiple times where we thought that, the gaps would not close. And then we saw the crypto market eventually close. And it took months, but eventually it happened. Of course, historically, we have the gap up here that went from November all the way to February the next year. And then we had also the gap from April all the way to November again, a significant 6+ months where the crypto market rallied and then sold off into the gap. Interestingly, we have a gap down here that hasn't been closed. That's why I'm still very, I'm optimistic in the short term that we will see a breakout back here and bring Bitcoin potentially back to 80,000. But soon, right, according to CME, they're going to launch 24/7 crypto futures and options trading starting May 29th. With this, the gaps formed in Bitcoin and Ethereum will no longer happen. And then this is the question someone wrote here. Honestly, it feels like a double-edged sword. On the one hand, this could be elimination of the gaps and the situation where, we have these gaps that form and then people are like, well, is it going to close? Is it not going to close? What's going to happen? Is it going to happen? And then months pass and eventually we've seen that it does get closed and people get very, distraught about it. But on the other hand, so we won't have that anymore. But on the other hand, you're going to have more volatility over the weekend because potentially funds that couldn't trade because they were in dollars, right? They were trading on the CME, now can trade. And so there's going to be more volatility on the weekend. And then that could mean more craziness and potential sell-offs, although the weekend is already very, very volatile, but now we're going to have more volume. So potentially we'll see what is going to happen with that. It's a change and we're going to have to see how it changes. Is it going to be for better or for worse? That only time will tell, but we can say goodbye to the CME gaps after the May 29th. We won't see them anymore. We talked about the trade deficit here, and it was announced that the trade deficit with China falls to the lowest level in over 20 years. Again, the question is it good or bad? Only time will tell. We'll see if the tariffs eventually, with the court case, remember, will the tariffs become illegal, not illegal, and will they, stay on, or will Trump find a backdoor to keep them on? I've read already that there's some possibilities that even if the Supreme Court says they're illegal, they can still try and do it in a different way, not use the order that he used in order to enact them. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens here for XRP, for the crypto market in the next coming days, and hopefully things don't get too wild. For me as well, I'm already thinking about what's going to happen. I remember already what happened last time. Hopefully it's not anything too crazy. Okay. Don't forget to smash the like button. Again, check out the links in the description down below if you want to check out BTCC. My kids want to say, my son wants to come say hello. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.